All right, guys, well, welcome back. As you can see, compared to last time, there's a little bit more of this white stuff on the ground here. And this week, we're going back to a state park that we visited one time before, McConnells Mill. So if you want to go back and see me hike the Kildew Trail and check out some covered bridges and smaller waterfalls, go back and watch that video. But anyway, this week I'm taking you to one of the larger waterfalls here in western Pennsylvania, Hell's Hollow. It's currently 15 degrees out the day after Christmas, so Merry Christmas to everybody out there, even though you're probably watching this in January. And I have a special guest back with me this week. Sam has decided to join me on probably one of the colder hikes I've ever done. So if you are a little curious about this trail, Hell's Hollow, it's a little bit over 1 mile, 1.2. So we're going to be doing about, you know, a half a mile out and a half a mile back. And as you can see, the creek here is pretty much frozen over. And probably one of the sketchier drives I've ever had to do heading to a trail. Fingers crossed we'll make it out of here. But yeah, so let's go check out the waterfall. There's also some old ruins along the way that I'll be showing you as well. It's probably like the 6th or 7th time I've hiked this trail, and this is honestly Sam's 2nd time doing this as well. So kind of know this trail fairly well. So yeah, hopefully you enjoy this cold 15-degree December hike. Winter's officially here, but yeah, enough chit chat. Let's get going. Let's warm up a little bit. Alrighty, just a little glimpse here at this intersection. This is the only intersection along the trail here, and as you can see, 0.4 miles until we get to the falls. You can also make this left here and hike all the way down to the old mill that I did a video on a couple months ago. A little interesting tidbit about that, though, is this is part of the North Country Trail. So if you're not familiar with that, I believe it starts in like North Dakota and heads all the way up to New England. So technically you could start here and hike all the way to North Dakota or New England, believe it or not. So kind of a cool thing to think about. And yeah, we're going to be crossing yet another bridge here and heading down to the very cold Hell's Hollow. All right, let's go. All right, well, as you can see, the creek is pretty much frozen over here. I said before, it's December 26th here in Pennsylvania, and we just got done having our polar vortex literally a couple days ago. Went down to like -15 with the wind chill, and now it's a balmy 15 degrees. It's supposed to be a high of 21 degrees today, but can't really beat it. Winter hiking sometimes could be beneficial. You have the trail all to yourself, as you can see, and you just have to bundle up a little bit like Sam here. So we have a little debate right now whether or not we think the waterfall is going to be frozen or not. And like I said before, Hell's Hollow is probably one of the nicer waterfalls here in western Pennsylvania. You really only have maybe 3 choices: Cucumber Falls in Ohio Powell, as well as a few other waterfalls there. Hell's Hollow here, and Springfield Falls, which is just a couple miles away from here as well. We'll be doing a video there eventually, not today. But yeah, like I said, there are some old ruins here I'm going to be talking about here once we get to them. But yeah, so far so good. How are you feeling?
Good.
Yeah? You look like an Eskimo.
I feel like an Eskimo.
Is this the coldest hike you've ever done?
Probably, yes.
So yeah, there you have it. Straight from Sam herself. All right. So I've been to this section of the creek, like I said, 6 or 7 times, and I've never seen it quite like this before. Pretty amazing. See all the icicles and everything as this little stream kind of meanders on down towards Hell's Hollow and cuts on through this limestone. Yeah, I mean, check it out. All kinds of game tracks around here too. And look at this view. This is just as cool as the waterfall right here. But I'm thinking Sam might be right. The waterfall might not be frozen over. Alrighty, well, what would one of my videos be without a little ID? And taking this ID business a little bit more serious this year for 2023. And right here, you can see we've run into a hemlock tree. And how did I know that? Well, take a stem or a stick like I have here, but these hemlock trees tend to have a rounded blade at the end of them, as you can see there. They're not pointy, they won't like poke you. So that's one good identifying factor. And the main thing that I look for is if you flip it over, you'll see silver bars. These hemlock trees tend to have 2 silver bars on pretty much every leaf on the tree. And as you can see there, each and every one of these leaves have that. So yeah, another ID for 2023, the eastern hemlock tree. And as you can see, this creek bed has a lot of them, including this giant hemlock tree right in front of me here. And they tend to like creeks, riverbeds, you know, anything that has moisture, shade, and yeah, so little ID for 2023, the eastern hemlock. All right, well, here is part of the ruins I mentioned earlier. This is kind of a top-down look at a old lime kiln. And as you can see, this would have been like the chimney from the kiln back in the day. But I'll show you a better view down below. And if you can notice here, this is all limestone surrounding this valley here before we make it on down to the waterfall. So keep that in mind. This whole valley is surrounded by limestone. We have a lime kiln, and I'll be explaining that when we get to the bottom here. So. All right, well, I promised some ruins along the way here, and here is what used to be the mouth of an old lime kiln furnace here. And if you're not really familiar with it, like I was until recently, so Pennsylvania is really known for its limestone, which is pretty much everywhere you look, including right here. And farmers and construction workers back in the day, early settlers back in the 1800s, would come around and gather up this limestone that was so easily abundant and put it into kilns like this that were pretty much all over Pennsylvania. I read stories that there were up to like 50,000 kilns around the state, this being one of them and still being standing to this day. So these early settlers would come around and get this limestone, pile it in there with charcoal and wood, and leave it go for up to 10 days, up to 1500 degrees. And eventually, the name limestone, obviously, the lime would come out of the rocks, and they would use it for various means, mainly farming and construction work. So if you extract that lime from this limestone and add it to soil, it actually boosts the pH level and helps out crops. So that was kind of like the main culprit behind it. But also, if you extract the lime from the limestone, you can make a type of mortar out of it. And I read that they added like horsehair and cow hair and whatever else they could find, probably deer hair, to it as well. And they would use this as a mortar to build, you know, old brick buildings and stuff like that. So whenever you're looking at some old stone structures, you can thank these old kilns here. So a little bit of history about Pennsylvania. Like I said, there was up to 50,000 of these around the state. So yeah, and we're just feet away from the waterfall here. And one other kind of interesting fact that just popped into my mind is, how did Hell's Hollow get its name? Well, it's due to this furnace here. They said whenever people came through this area late at night, they would hear a waterfall and then see this glowing. I mean, you could probably see this thing from miles and miles away. So imagine walking up to this waterfall and seeing it illuminated in you know, reds and orange. So that's how it got its name, Hell's Hollow. So all due to this little kiln here. All right, so enough history about the kiln. Let's head on down the sketchy steps here. Alrighty, well, we made it. We didn't fall in so far. And here's a view at Hell's Hollow waterfall, pretty much dead on. And as you can see, we're standing right in the middle of the creek. So far, so good. Hopefully the ice doesn't crack underneath our feet. But yeah, there we go. Can't really beat this view. I've been here in pretty much every season, but never, you know, during the winter time here. And pretty awesome basically being right underneath the waterfall here. So yeah, you know, if you come out in weather like this, you always want to make sure that the ice, you know, is strong enough to hold your weight. You don't want to come out here, especially, you know, on a longer hike and end up falling into icy water. That would be obviously really bad. So just be mindful of that if you want to do something like this. So yeah, take a look at some of these icicles. Some of these icicles are well over probably 15 foot tall. But yeah, what an incredible day to come out here. We had the trail all to ourselves, and yeah. All right, well, that's gonna wrap up this video. Hopefully you guys all enjoyed our little journey here to Hell's Hollow here in McConnells Mill State Park. highly recommend to come out here in the wintertime if you can. It's dead quiet. There ain't nobody out here. And you get awesome views like this. Hell's Hollow and all the surrounding smaller waterfalls and icicles. So, as always, if you enjoyed the video, please consider hitting that subscribe button. Give me a like, leave me a comment. You know the deal by now. And if you aren't already, follow me on Instagram and add me as a friend on Facebook. So, all right, signing out from me and Sam. And we will see you next week from all new State Park, I believe. All right, see you guys next week.